The Dread Martyrs are a fleet-based chapter of Adeptus Astartes of unknown founding that patrol the boundaries of Imperial space along the eastern fringe. They claim to be descended from the Imperial Fist gene stock, though they are members of the Inquisition who believe that they are possibly descended from the Death Guard Primarch Mortarion, though there is no conclusive evidence that points to this conclusion. Formerly known as the Emperor's Wardens and based on the planet of Targantha Prime, the chapter was expelled from their planet due to heavy infestation by Chaos cultists. During the early stages of the Targanthan War, the Emperor's Wardens sided with the planetary government and Astra Militarum regiments, not realizing that they were the source of the chaotic corruption on their planet. By the time it became apparent, it was too late for the planet to be redeemed, and the chapter fought a losing battle to try to save some portion of the population. The chapter suffered heavy losses ensuring evacuation routes for civilians and loyalist regiments, but defeat after defeat forced the chapter from the planet. Seeing no other option, the first chapter master of the Emperor's Wardens, Astigan Doman, ordered the world cleansed of all life, then destroyed by cyclonic torpedoes. When the Inquisition and the High Lords found out about this transgression, the Emperor's Wardens faced censor and excommunication from not only allowing their recruiting world to fall to chaos taint, as well as the unauthorized use of exterminatus-level weaponry, but it was ultimately decided that the chapter would undertake a penitent crusade instead, as the eastern fringe of the Imperium was expecting a massive uptick in conflict with other races. Starting in the mid-37th millennia, the chapter fought through a series of devastating wars and conflicts throughout the eastern fringe, combating Eldar raids, Orc wars and various Tyranid/Chaos infestations, though heavily censored reports indicated an unnatural stamina and resilience that the chapter possessed. These wars brought about a change in thinking and doctrine within the Emperor's Wardens, as death in service of humanity was seen as a mercy granted by the Emperor and final absolution for their chapter's sins. This crusade lasted for 2 Terran centuries before the Emperor's Wardens atoned for their sins in the eyes of the Imperium, but the stain of failure, coupled with the rumors about their inception during the 21st founding, continued to plague the chapter, as other Astartes chapters would outright refuse to aid or refuse the aid of the Emperor's Wardens, and the Inquisition continued to monitor the chapter. This increased scrutiny and innate hostility shown by their brothers nearly destroyed the Emperor's Wardens entirely, and, in some sense, it did. Growing discontent amongst the Astartes slowly simmered into heretical thoughts and actions as the chapter found itself engulfed in an eternal power struggle between the secessionists and renegades and the loyalists. Open conflict between the two factions began during M38, where the chapter was prosecuting a campaign of reclamation against a system that had seceded from the Imperium. The renegade force, led by Captain Trajan Belagol, led 4 full companies of battle brothers against their newly and narrowly elected chapter master Thaddeus Lorne, in congruence with the renegade Astra Militarum forces supplied by the traitor governors. Loyalist forces were initially pushed from the world, and it wasn't until the arrival of 2 Black Templar companies, Stenhir and Antora, as well as Astra Militarum forces consisting of Death Corps Grenadiers and Cadian shock troops arrived, turning the tide of battle back into the Imperium's favor. Upon the arrival of these reinforcements, Chapter Master Lorne was severely chastised by both Castellan Antora and Stenhir for his lack of judgment and for failing to keep his chapter from falling into ruin. As a means to save face among his peers, Lorne swore an oath of moment upon his power fist and bolter that he would lead his remaining Astartes and slay the traitors to the last man. Thaddeus Lorne prosecuted this oath with grim efficiency, slaying the renegades, and worlds were scoured clean of human life. Eventually, the Emperor's Wardens found themselves besieging the last hive still held by renegade forces, where the last of the traitor governors and Astartes had barricaded them inside the governor's palace. Thaddeus Lorne personally led the assault on the hive, demanding the last blow be delivered by his force to prove their continued loyalty to the Imperium. For 2 months, the renegades fought the Imperial forces tooth and nail up to the gates of the governor's palace, until Lorne, using the Vindicators to blow the massive edifices down, stormed the palace with his remaining Astartes. The melee between the remaining renegades and loyalists culminated in a duel between Lorne and the renegade captain Trajan Belagol. Both Astartes displayed near superhuman stamina and resilience until Lorne disarmed Belagol and shattered his lower spine with a power blow from his power fist. Standing over his former brother, Lorne executed the traitor with using his bolt pistol before capturing the remaining renegade governors. After this conflict, known in chapter records as the War Between Brothers, the chapter was officially censored by the High Lords of Terra and disbanded. However, the High Lords accepted Thaddeus Lorne's petition to reform the chapter under a new banner, the Dread Martyrs. His changes fundamentally affected the chapter in thinking, tradition, and battle doctrine, emphasizing their past failures as the prime motivators for any engagements the chapter as was seeking redemption for the past sins of the chapter and the perceived flaw in their gene seed.